and welcome to Recall the Midwife. We are three superfans who love Call The Midwife. We watch each episode and then we talk about it. I'm Alex.
I'm Becky.
I'm Jen.
Now today...
Oh, I said that so crazy. Anyway, we can keep it in.
Well, to be fair, this is the episode to be crazy. So we are doing like a bonus episode because we've had so much correspondence from our amazing listeners. I still can't believe it's not just our mums who are writing in.
Well, you know what? My mom could
been.
never because she doesn't really know how to work any of the technology that would be able to leave her a comment. So,
she did say she was your head taster.
If she could figure out how to leave a comment, she would leave many, many comments. Yes.
Oh, she did. She said she was a head taster of those fluffernutters.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Delicious.
Yes, she did. She knows how to comment on Instagram, so that's a preferred method for her. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, we've had quite a lot of correspondence, and instead of cramming it at the end where we've not got much time and we're really rubbish at ending podcasts, we wanted to kind of actually be able to discuss them properly and digest them and listen to them instead of like rushing to be like bye bye bye. So. This is a bonus episode because you wouldn't normally be getting this. And the next episode after this, we are going to be reading Farewell to the East End.
Well, yes,
talking about it. Have you finished it yet, girls?
No, but I will have.
I will have by next week.
I've finished it. I just have to take the hard copy and like review it because I read it on audiobook like a few weeks ago. My memory is not to be trusted, so I have to refresh.
Well, I hate it, but I'm nearly through it. But anyway. So
it's really tough. It's really dark. It's dark as hell.
They're all really dark, these books, which I still don't understand how Jennifer Worth got some good stuff out of these awful books, but she did.
Well,
who did I say?
Jennifer Worth.
What is wrong? Honestly, I know what's wrong with me. I'm really tired. Anyway, so right, time to start a podcast. So, shall we start, ladies?
Yes.
Are you gonna put us out of our misery with the big game changer?
Do you want me to do it now? Okay, so I did reference that we had a bit of game-changing correspondence, and yes. I didn't tell them, and now Becky's absolutely dying to know
desperate.
What it is.
Well, the thing is, we'd agreed that we were gonna talk about it later on, but now Bex has just been like, "Are you just gonna tell us right now?"
Right. Okay, I will tell you now.
Okay.
So basically, Chloe has emailed in. Okay. Chloe is my absolute soulmate. She's also mega into Neighbours. We found out afterwards after I met.
Is this actually game changing, or have you hyped it?
Well, let's just wait and see, shall we?
Okay.
Honestly, the shade.
So Chloe is someone that messaged us, but you don't know her previously.
No, this is the first email I've ever had from her.
Okay.
And then I messaged back being like, "Oh my god!" And then
this could be another. Did you know that Barbara's granddad is Richard Burton?
No,
because this is actually real.
Let's just wait and see what this is, Bex. Let's just wait and see. Okay, here we go.
Let me talk. Anyway, so she's also mega into Neighbours, so she's basically my soulmate. So hi, Chloe, I love you. Anyway, so hey girls. I don't know why I said it like that. Chloe, I'm pretty sure you don't say it like that either. I do apologise. Forgive the old-fashioned email, but I've largely come away from social media for Lent, so this is the easiest way for me to contact you rather than just drop a message on socials. I have recently started listening to your podcast, and I've many episodes ahead of me to enjoy, so you may have covered this in future episodes. Forgive me if you have. Side note, we have not. Okay. I noticed you shared my confusion over the sudden disappearance of Jane.
Yes.
Yes.
I recently discovered via Tumblr that the scene in the Christmas episode where Bernadette, Mary, and Sister Julienne stop Sheila in the street, Jane is mentioned. Apparently only in scenes that aired in New Zealand.
What?
Yep. And Sister Julienne confirms she went off to nursing school.
What?
So I've got the scene here. I'm going to play it to you.
Oh my God!
Yes. So I'm going to play it to you. Right. Can I just say, was this game-changing, Becky?
Yes, it was game-changing. And we said it might have got cut.
Yes, we did.
Well, this is not what I thought it was. Okay, here we go.
Why did New Zealand get it?
Well, I don't know. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it to you two now.
Okay.
And don't say anything because actually what I'm actually going to do is I've got my husband to actually get the audio out for me in better quality so I can put it into the episode for the listeners.
Okay.
I'm going to play it for you two now so you can hear it.
Okay.
My dear Sheila.
Hello, Sister Julienne.
Oh, it's so very good to see you. The bride-to-be.
I was on my way to sit with Timothy while he does his homework. Dr. Turner's out on call and my lodgings aren't far away.
Is there something very special in that box?
My wedding dress. I've just been to collect it. It's knee length, really quite simple.
And for that very reason, you look exquisite in it. Christmas Eve is a beautiful day to be married.
It'll be a quiet ceremony. Dr. Turner has 2 friends who'll act as witnesses, and afterwards we're taking them for lunch. Timothy will come with us, of course.
I understand. Nevertheless, we'd hoped we'd see you more often. We're feeling quite depleted now that Jane has also gone away to nursing school.
I don't like to trouble you. Nonata's house is such a busy place.
We aren't too busy to include you in our prayers.
That means a very great deal to me, sister. And I thank you for it.
There you go, guys. Did you hear that?
Whoa!
Can I say it's so weird listening to it
Yeah.
without
The context of the scene.
Well, also like, okay, two takeaways, but Bex, do you want to say yours first?
Well, I'm glad that they did think they were going to address it, but obviously it got cut from our episode. Also, Dr. Turner had 2 best friends who were going to act as witnesses.
Yeah. So hang on, let me just finish this email from Chloe first.
Right, yeah.
So it says,
Okay.
I hope this gives you the same amount of closure it gave me.
Yes.
Looking forward to spending many more hours listening to your thoughts, and one day I might catch up to date with you. Thanks for the podcast and sharing your thoughts. Well, Chloe, thank you.
Chloe! Oh my God. We finally got justice. Wow.
Justice
Wow.
for Jane.
Justice for Jane. I will say, the thing is, the thing that's making me insane about it, that scene is basically the exact same that we all got in our versions, except
Yeah,
for like
but
that one little 3-second like line about Jane. It's like, why would you cut that? That's almost nothing. Just leave it in.
No,
Like,
because I don't think the bit about Dr. Turner's friends and the fact that they're going to go to lunch, take them to lunch afterwards, I don't think all of that's in. I think we got half that scene.
Yeah, we
no,
did.
I agree, but like,
But
I
just
don't care
keep the
about
Jane bit in.
Well, that's the thing. I don't care about Dr. Turner's friends. That's a nothing burger. I care about Jane. Like, give me some context with Jane. Like, that's what I want to know about. Like, it would take so little to have like left that in. And I mean, I'm sure they cut it for like a reason that makes sense to the people who know or whatever. But like,
Tell
as
you what,
fans
girls, as
who
well.
watch The Sense,
I had this secret that I've been harboring from you two. I can't tell you how tempted I have been to send you that link, to send you that. I told my husband he could not have cared less. And I was really annoyed. I got him to actually edit the scene and get it out of that audio file for me to actually put it on here so we can actually have good audio on it for
yeah.
the podcast. And I was just been like dying to speak to someone about it, but no one else cares.
Oh, well,
It's a very
I am
niche
proud of the
concern.
show. Well done,
Oh my
Chloe.
gosh.
Good.
Yeah,
detective work.
Chloe. Now, do we think Chloe is in New Zealand? Is that how she got to see it?
No, because she's definitely in England, because then we spoke afterwards, because I was like, oh, God. It's so much. And then she said about Neighbours as well. So yeah, but she also met Dr. Carl, like I have. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, the other thing I'll say, just because I hadn't thought about this episode in so long, because it's been a while since I've seen it and since we've talked about it, but I forgot how sad Sheila was about her wedding before she kind of really came to terms with it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she was treating it like she was in love and she wanted to get married to him, but she was treating it like something she had to be ashamed of. And it just made it like the way that the two women are talking to each other, like it almost sounds like Sheila is just like, oh, we're just gonna get married really quick, like so no one like we're not gonna make a big deal about it because we're not allowed to enjoy it, and like no one really needs to know about it because it's really not that important, and like I'm just you know, like, and it's like, oh no, and the fact that they like ended up getting over that, and she had a beautiful big white wedding dress, and they had a big wedding, and it was a whole thing, and it was like in the church, and it was in front of everybody, and they did the whole thing. I'm like, yeah,
but why? What actually helped it? Say what helped it, everyone. Polio. That's what caused it to be this lovely thing.
Oh my goodness gracious. Wow, Chloe.
I know. Is that a game changer or is that not
That
a game
was
changer,
game
guys?
changer.
Oh my
I'm
God,
so
like,
glad.
blow the roof off. So this has been like
We're like 70,
we've
80
had-
episodes in.
well, I was gonna say this is like probably almost 2 years of speculation that we've had.
If
You know what I mean?
anything, I'm actually annoyed with our listeners for, well, number one, us for not being good at your research, and the rest of our listeners for not telling us this. So,
Also,
up your game, guys.
Well,
I'm really
why didn't any New
surprised.
Zealand listeners tell us this? Because they should know. They would have watched it, right?
If
Well,
you're in New Zealand, you should be ashamed of yourself. But I'm really surprised because I knew that Jen got deleted scenes, but I thought that we would have the full version.
You'd have
Well, I would as well.
everything. Well, how does
Yeah,
it
but
feel to be left out, Bex? How does it feel?
I don't
Well, now
like it, Jen. I
I
don't like
don't
it at
like
all.
Well, the thing is that's wild for me is that like there are some scenes that I'm like, oh, I really wish I could have seen that. But like most of the scenes that get cut are scenes that are like obviously really lovely and like wonderful, but they're not, they're not like clinchers for the storyline. You
See,
know
I
what I
think
mean?
the
Like,
I think the Barbara funeral, the Barbara dying episode, there was a clincher that you got missed out, and I'm really annoyed that they missed out because I think that's one of the most powerful bits.
oh,
When
which one did I miss?
you missed the one where Lucille says, "Do you want me to pray with you?" to Nurse Crane, and Nurse Crane is like, "No, I do not want you to pray with me." And it gets really annoyed about the fact that she's, and then Lucille's worried about it and all this. But
Oh, yeah.
it just makes the moment later so much more poignant. Like I know
Yeah.
it's poignant
Yeah.
anyway, but it just
Mhm.
really adds gravitas to it. And I just thought that was a real shame for the American viewers that didn't get to see that because it really did add some. It just added extra
Well,
depth to it.
I mean, the thing that kind of drives me crazy about it is that in America, PBS, Public Broadcasting System, has the rights to air the show. And so they air it on American TV. And I know that they do put it on television, but like historically, PBS doesn't really do a lot of commercials. And I just don't know. And also it's public broadcasting. Like, I mean, it's like a fun, it's not like exactly the same. I mean, they do sell advertising and stuff like that, but it's just not the exact same as like regular network television. And I just don't know why they couldn't. I mean, they import a lot of other series and everything like that. I just don't know why they couldn't like leave it
Well,
the
why
way
couldn't
it
they give
is.
us that flaming 3-second clip that could have absolutely given us
Well,
closure?
yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm sure it has to do with some like really boring like TV editing restrictions and da 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 da. And I'm sure that's why over here, like, because the thing is, my episode is always only ever like 3 to 5 minutes shorter than you guys. It's really not that much. I mean, I basically get everything, but I'm just like, I don't get it. And then the thing is that I watch it on the streaming service on PBS, the Passport app. And so I'm like, well, on that, why couldn't they have given the regular full episode? And then I rewatch a lot of them on Netflix. And I'm like, why can't Netflix have the regular British version either? You know what I mean? I'm just like, it just drives me insane. It's 2024. We live in a global world. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I know it has to do with like international copyright law or some BS thing like that, but I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
Well,
We
I'd
can
like to think
start-
that some disgruntled person doing the producing has just left it so that England doesn't get it, but New Zealand does, in a weird twist of fate.
It's just nuts. It's just nuts. And
We can
frankly,
start justice for Jen with the edits.
That's exactly what we should do. Justice for Jen. It's very interchangeable. Well done. And we should
Well,
also have
I'm gonna-
recall for Complin still. Come on.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and I definitely, so yeah, we just need to put out a whole bunch of like t-shirts. Like I definitely need like mature Jenny t-shirt. I definitely need that. Call
You
back
need a
to our
mature Jenny.
recap.
I need a put it in the
Put it in a
drawer.
drawer,
Put
Sheila.
Put it in the drawer, Sheila.
Oh my God. Well, I was really laughing because I was thinking about you. This is from our last episode, the episode that aired today, where you were like, he's a homosexual. Dr. Turler was like,
If he's homosexual, he's homosexual.
homosexual. And it just like just the way that you like I just think it's so funny. And like, oh my gosh, I just think like Stephen McGinn is like, that's not how I said it. I'm like, I know it's not, but like it's just so much fun to say it that way.
Becky's t-shirt would be hashtag not Team Winifred.
Oh, see, I think Becky's would be, I didn't care for them. I feel like Becky is just like, or I didn't warm to them. I didn't warm to them.
No, I like it. Becky's a step too far.
Step too far. Step too far. That's a good one. It's a step too far. Or I love a cold spread. You always say I love a cold spread.
I do love a cold
And
spread.
she loves babies in wool wool.
Babies
Especially
in
Chinese babies.
wool and knitwear. Yep, exactly.
I have to cut that.
No, I'm keeping that in. So yeah, Chloe, what an absolute miracle worker.
Yeah,
How
well
made
done.
that?
Chloe, truly like a legend. Call the midwife legend, instant legend
I
status.
genuinely
Perfect
did
call.
big it up to them to being like, you'll never. Oh my god, it's amazing, and they were like, what is it? And I can't tell you.
I don't
Literally
want
2 weeks.
I don't want to take away anything from this revelation because truly it is mind blowing. But when I tell you, I literally thought that like a major regular on the cast had emailed you and been like, all access pass. I really thought that was what it was gonna be, and I was like, because you made me like,
no, it's funny you should say that. No, it's not.
I thought Fred had been in touch and was like, girls, I'll get you in to Compline.
You know what? I really hope, Fred, if you're listening, because he always likes our pictures. He's put our thing in his story before. He's put our like post in his story before, which was amazing. So
I'm telling you, he's probably responsible for a big amount of our listeners, and he deserves credit.
Yeah.
Cliff Parisi, a legend.
I literally watched. I hate I'm a Celebrity. I really hate it. I don't like watching the trials or anything. But I only watched that series because he was on it. So it works both ways. I gave him being figures.
Well, and he's still a fashion icon because honestly, he was wearing the coveralls in a bunch of the episodes. So like he has. Oh, and then I just started watching series 13, which no spoilers, but he's wearing the overalls, which are like the straps. To have the straps, it's not like sleeves. Dungarees. He was wearing those. And I was like, oh my God, the overalls are back. Like, still love it. Still want to wear them. Still want to get a pair of those. But then in this series, he was wearing the coveralls a lot, which is like the full, what do you guys call it?
Boiler suit
with
kind
like
of thing.
Sleeves and everything like that. It's like a jumpsuit over here. And I was like, oh, Fred, like just, oh my God, I just love his outfits. Like, I'm not saying I'd wear everything he wears, but
see, I'd love to wear dungarees, but I just don't suit them. They just look like maternity ones because I'm quite large chested.
At this point, I'm caring less and less, like especially on the weekends. Like for work, my job now is like requires a lot more of like a professional look than I had before. So I really try to step it up Monday through Friday. But on the weekend, I honestly just look terrible, and I'm fine with it. And I don't want to look. I'm not saying I want to look terrible, but I value like comfort and ease and like looseness and comfort a lot.
Looking like Fred.
And honestly, I really do, because you know what? On the weekends, I basically am Fred. I'm pottering. I'm working in my garden. And you're
persuading Sister Monica Joan to get an eye off.
Exactly. Oh my God. So like literally this morning, my mom got up and went to church. And like, as she was leaving to go, I said, you look like Sister Monica Joan if she had never become a nun.
I love it.
Well, and the funny thing is that she came out and she basically had on, and this is also hilarious because like sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm going to donate this pile of clothes. And then my mom considers me to be like her own personal little Goodwill. So she goes through. So there was this dress that I had ages ago. Now, also fun fact for all of our listeners, like I'm a tall woman. I'm 5'9", and my mom is a very short lady and she's about 5'2". And so like things obviously are going to fit different on people who are vastly different in height. So I was getting rid of this dress, and on me it was like just below my knees, but on my mom it's like very close to like a maxi style, but it's still, like well above her ankles. But anyways, so she had on this black t-shirt dress that I had, so like solid black. She had on black tights, and then she had on these really cute little shoes that she got from the store, but they're, how do I describe them? They're suede. It's like a dark gray and a black suede, but then the way that they fasten to stay on is there's like a little there's like one little string tie, so it's like it almost looks like a little kid shoe, you know what I mean? It looks like there's just like one little bow, that she ties on her feet. And then she had on a gray cardigan that she bought from the men's section of Target, which is so cute, and then a scarf. And then she has this like big like a poof of gray hair, which is absolutely adorable. And so she just really looked like an off-duty nun. Or like a nun who was like on vacation, or like whatever, or something like that. And she was just really like giving like very strong like mojo vibes. And as soon as I said it, she started laughing, and I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that story, as I almost never know where I'm going with some of these stories. But anyways, that's why that was what just recently happened. So
right, shall we get back to the listener special? Because I just realized we've done one listener thing and we're out.
Yes. Although it was really big. It was really big. But yes, I do want to hear from everyone. All of our listeners are equally beautiful and special. So
but yeah, thank you again, Chloe. But thank you to all our listeners, just even for listening. But I'm being a bit Jen there. Right, okay, this is from Melissa. So I'm just gonna go through a load now. So this is on Facebook. Melissa says, just recently found your podcast after becoming obsessed with the show. Currently watching season 6, but listening to your podcast at season 3. I'll catch up soon. Love listening to the different perspectives. Also, something that drove me crazy in a previous episode, we do have and use the word Q in the States, just more infrequently and differently, I suppose. So Jen, that's to you.
You know what? Fair. I take ownership.
Yeah.
Yes. We do have it. It's not as common, but yes, it is. Yes, she's right. Fair.
Yeah. Okay, so Barbara Lim, we've had Barbara loads on us. We love Barbara. Barbara's one of our super fans.
Yes.
So Barbara says, shout out to Amelia, also from Australia, for the explanation of the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Yeah.
You ladies may be interested to know that currently there is a debate about our currency. Our $5 note has had the effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II since decimalisation. Now, of course, when new notes are printed, we will be expecting King Charles II. Some people are wanting to keep the Queen.
Oh,
Ooh.
drama.
Yeah.
I
think I've seen that in the UK.
I actually did hear that after she passed away, after Queen Elizabeth II passed away, I want to say, now I could be wrong with some of the details here, but I want to say that Australia decided they were not going to really like work that hard to get around to changing their money because they were just like, it's really expensive to change money around and then to print new money first off, but then also to like take out of circulation and replace old money. So what I heard is that they're just going to kind of keep her going for a little while longer.
Well,
They've
do-
already released some of it, haven't they?
Yeah.
They do that here, so it just gradually gets phased in.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you guys seen any King Charles notes or anything?
I've seen a Charles stamp,
Stamp, okay.
but
Yeah.
it's like with post boxes, they all have the royal siphon.
It's her profile, right? Is that what you're talking about?
No, like the ER. Is that a siphon?
Oh, I have
I've-
no idea
I
what
have
it's
no
called.
idea what it's called.
But
I'm the wrong
those,
person.
because everybody was
Oh, is
saying,
it
oh,
called
it's gonna be...
sigil? Is it called sigil? Or is that something else? What's the sigil?
I don't think it matters. Anyway, it's on there.
It does matter. It does matter.
So wait, but King Charles is supposed to be on everything, right? Like coins, notes, blah, 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 everything.
Yeah.
But it won't happen.
Like right away. Like you're saying it's a
No,
slow
so
process.
it's just as they start to become replaced. Like, so for example, there's a post box that I pass, which is still from King George V.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Or Becky's like, no, it's not actually, it's lazy.
I like it.
I like it. I think that's cool. Right. Okay. On to Bonnie, who
Yeah.
is talking about the episode when nothing about me,
When
but it was the
what
episode
did
that
you
I really, it was the one I really struggled with when the lady had a
okay.
birth phobia. So Bonnie
Oh.
says, Alex, thank you so much for your willingness to be vulnerable in sharing your experiences. I too had birth trauma followed by a brutal struggle with postpartum depression. For a long time, I felt like I had failed as a woman and a mother. Hearing your story helps me feel a little bit less alone, even though I'm across the pond. Hugs to you. Oh, Bonnie, I hate hugs, but thank you.
That is so sweet. That is
But
so
also,
sweet.
she absolutely. I actually replied to her because I was just like, you hit the nail on the head with how you feel like you failed. So because other women can do it, and you feel like you failed as a woman not being able to do it. So honestly, thank you so much, Bonnie. I really, really appreciate that. It was a really hard episode for me to do, but I'm just really, really glad that I did, and also that you liked it as well, and also just it resonated with you. I like that.
Also, for our listeners, we watched you went well because we were going to record that episode and then we had to postpone for a week.
Yeah, because I had a sickness bug.
And so the next weekend, Alex is like, oh, I'll just watch the episode again just to refresh my memory. And I was like, don't watch it.
I totally forgot. Yeah. Oh, now another one. Now this one's actually directly for Jenn.
She's still on mute.
Oh,
This one's directly for Jenn. So this
okay.
is Joanne off Facebook. Now, the thing is, it's really funny because like they're saying these things and you're like, when did we even mention that? But I'm going to go here. Another thing Jenn got a little mixed up on
Okay. All right. Here we go. That's fine.
is tripe. It is sold in our local grocery stores. Pig stomach is a popular food among PA Dutch. It was for special occasions at my house growing up in central PA.
Okay.
Apparently, tripe is absolutely...
Wait, so I'll just say to this beautiful listener, yes, you're exactly right. Obviously, I mean, she knows what she knows, right? So here's the thing, and I try to say this whenever I'm talking about this kind of stuff in the pod, but I certainly feel like it's worth repeating or saying for the first time if someone hasn't caught it or whatever, that I mean, no Americans can speak for every American, obviously, like that's not possible. So I never want
Donald Trump can.
Okay, let's not even go there, but but I just want everyone to know, like, if I've gotten anything wrong, you know, especially about regional specificity, like I fully take ownership. Like I never mean anything I say to be 100% that like all Americans are X, because we're just a massive country. We have 4 time zones. We have, you know, over 350 million people here. Like, you know, it's just a lot of us, and like there's
The other thing is
the quality of American life inherently means that there's just so many different cultural, ethnic, racial, like, you know, religious like influences, and all of those things are this, you know, massive.
But also,
melting
Jenn,
pot.
if you listen to this podcast, accuracy is not what you're here for, because Bill War.
You're
Commonwealth.
not here for a thoroughly well-prepared podcast.
You're not
So
here for any well research, anything that's
Yeah.
actually, flying squad I thought was, helicopter. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you
So
want
I'll just
something really
say-
right and well researched and totally on the thing, you are in the wrong place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know all of our listeners, give us a lot of grace and
Oh
everything.
no, it was tongue in cheek.
but I
It was
just-
tongue in cheek. The message.
Yeah, but I just do, I do say, like, if I ever sound like I'm speaking for everyone, or like I'm so confident I know for sure, whatever, just always feel free to correct us, because honestly, context is king, and like I love hearing about people's individual experiences. But just know that I'm saying things in like a generalized and like hopefully funny, humorous way, like so.
Actually, on this, we were talking about the Barbara thing, and you two were like, "Oh, how did she die? How did she get sepsis?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's meningitis, which brings on sepsis."
You
Beck
only
was like,
knew that because you knew it from the next
No.
episode.
No, but I didn't. I
You
knew it
did.
anyway because I knew about meningitis
No.
and sepsis.
Okay, but
No.
anyways, even if you
Anyway,
did, then
Beck
what's
was
the point?
really sure
Then
she was
what's the
wrong.
point? Okay.
The point being, I was really right on that. So
So you literally stopped us just to say I was really right. That's really what.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Oh, okay.
I edit this, so carry on. So
Next listener comment.
So this is from Jen, and this is part 1 of 2. So
Oh, from a Jen.
yes.
Okay, love
This
a
is not-
Jen. Here we
This is not
go.
pointing your anything out. Kick for you, Tom. Okay, you ready? Thank you for
Mhm.
your podcast. Just had to reach out. I started listening from the beginning last week, and I'm up to the end of season 5. I just
Oh my
had to
God.
reach out. I know.
Wow.
I know. I just had to reach out and say I love the podcast. I finally have someone to talk to about the show. Just finished the
Aw.
episode where the Turners go camping, and I had to laugh so hard
Oh
about
my
all
God,
my
I love
feelings on camping. Just wait for this. I work for a company that manages campgrounds here in the US, and I'm currently over safety and insurance, so I get a copy of every single incident that happens in campgrounds across the country.
Oh
Let
my
me tell
God.
you, camping is awful.
Right. What are the
Amazing
things
job.
that she has heard in those reports? I would love to know. I would love to know.
I don't know, but she says stay home with your bathrooms and door locks and domesticated animals.
Oh my God. Wait. This lady, do we have her name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jen.
Oh, Jen. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Well, you know what? I apologize to my own sister in Jennifer Hood. But Jennifer, please send us a story. Please, for the love. Just pick one that you think sums up a lot and just send it. Like you can even say don't read it on the pod because I have to protect my job and privacy or whatever. But like we just want to hear. Please, can you just okay, that's my plea. That I'm gonna end there. But
Right.
yes,
Well, so she's got a question for us, and then there's a second part because I then replied. So
Oh, okay.
she says, here is my question for you. Are midwives still very common in the UK? I know we have them here in the US, but it's not as common, I think. And I think they've even been almost frowned upon here in the past. So in answer to your question, Jen, yes, midwives are a massive part still of the childbirth story here. Basically, you mainly see midwives. You only ever see a doctor if there's an issue. So I went through the whole of my pregnancy and the whole of my birth only with midwives. That's it. See a doctor the whole time. There was no need for me to. So yeah, it's very midwife led. I've got 2 very heavy pregnant friends at the moment. They've only seen midwives. So yeah, it's all about the midwives here in the UK.
I'll tell you what, I have not been pregnant, but I think it would be great to have a midwife. I mean, it's the full specialty of the person who's giving you care, right? They don't do anything else.
Yeah.
They focus on that. Not that people who deliver babies don't focus on delivering babies, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's, and the midwives, especially if it's like on the show, they take you from pregnancy all the way through and then even after, so
Yeah.
it's somebody who's there with you full stop. And again, I know people get that care here with other professionals,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, especially because it seems like a lot of midwives are women, and again,
Yeah.
nothing against male doctors or nurses or whatever like that, but I feel like it's just different to have anyway. So
Yeah. So
I
part
just love
2 of Jen's
midwives.
message, because
Love
I was like,
midwives.
oh, thank you so much. Can we put this on the pod or that? She said,
Mhm.
also, random side note, I love when Jen talks about watching the podcast with her mom.
Oh.
My mom passed away before I discovered the show, and I know she would have loved it. She got married in 1957 when the show started and had 2 of her babies in a maternity home in Canada where they moved for a few years after their marriage. My mom had 7 kids, her first in 1959 and me in 1986. I was surprised with a 17-year age gap between me and my closest sibling. Ugh. Every time my mom had a baby, her labour was different and they used different pain relief methods. When I watched the show, I just know she would love the history and the memories it would bring up for her.
Oh.
Isn't that lovely?
I love that. Jennifer,
Yeah.
shout out to your sweet mom. And
Yeah.
like truly like all honor and like respect given to her for having 7 kids and raising a beautiful family and being a beautiful lady.
I know, and a closest sibling being 17 years.
Yeah, I'll tell you
God.
I'll tell you a really fast story which made me think of this. So Jennifer, I just moved to Virginia from North Carolina, and in our church in North Carolina, we had a lot of wonderful, wonderful people that we were very good friends with. And there was a lady who passed away a long time ago, but she was the youngest of a very large family as well. I want to say she had eight to 10 siblings, and there was a big age gap between her oldest sibling and her being the baby. And she told a story about the fact that there was a Sunday where everybody was coming to their house for dinner, and this lady walked into her house, and she was a little kid, but maybe like kindergarten age or something. And she ran up to her mom and she was like, "Mom, who's that lady?" And she was like, "That's your sister." Her sister was already like out of the house, married, like had her own house, like, she just wasn't around as often, and so she just didn't know her. And she said that and that story just always stuck out in my mind because I just thought
that's
hilarious.
like my granddad. My mum tells a story about her dad. My granddad is the oldest of like 10 or 13. One of my mums was like one of 10, one was one of 13, but they were both the eldest. He was living in London, working at the Savoy as a like doing waiter servicing, like silver service stuff. Anyway, he went back up home to Middlesbrough, and his mum was pregnant, and he didn't even realise she was pregnant or notice. And then the next day, she'd had a baby. And how thick must you? I said to my mum, like, surely this must not be true. Like, you've embellished this because how thick must you be? Anyway, that's by the by.
Oh my gosh.
Right,
Well,
now,
there's a 20-year age gap between my dad's the eldest and my uncle, who's the youngest of 4.
Oh, you're kidding.
That's
Wait,
the 20
only
year
4
age gap.
kids though.
4 kids, yeah. He was a complete accident.
Wow.
your dad or the...
But it's weird because my uncle is closer in age to me and my brother.
Oh my
than
God.
my dad.
Wow. Wow.
That is weird.
So was he always like the super young, cool, hip uncle guy to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was only, how old? He's probably like 10 years older than me.
He's only, oh wow, so he is significantly younger. Wow. Okay. Families are so interesting and amazing. So
I know, it's mad, isn't it? Right, now, back onto the Call the Midwife. Come on.
Okay.
So Jeremy on Instagram says, my question is, how do you find that Call the Midwife deals with character exits? So they mention here a bit of a spoiler, so I don't really want to say it. But
if you don't want to know about something that comes in future, stop and jump ahead like 30 seconds or a minute or something like that, because we're going to say.
Spoiler alert, I'll do it right now. I'm a bit frustrated, but they have not mentioned anything this season about Cyril's marriage now that Lucille is not coming back.
There we go. Yeah.
And it is weird because this season, the latest series 13, they haven't referenced her once.
Well, girls, we have to. Okay, so I'll just say really quick. So I've finished episode 5 of series 13, and I'm gonna keep watching. Tonight that's gonna be a show we watch for sure. We'll watch 1 or 2 episodes. But by the way, like I have such major hard eyes for Cyril this season. I don't know why. Like I always loved him, but like this season I'm just like really loving him. But
you feel like kindred spirits this season. Change of profession.
Oh my! I'm like, where's my real life Cyril? Oh my God! But it is crazy, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But but if there is something that's gonna happen with it, also don't spoil it for me either, because I want to find out when I watch the rest of series 13.
Do you know how they deal with exits? They let everyone in New Zealand know what's going on.
I was about to say, if you're in New Zealand, let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Because and actually, Jeremy, we have complained. Like, I mean, you're gonna hear us complain about this a lot, because honestly, they do character exits. To me, it's shocking, because it's one of the things they actually, I think, do not do well on the show, and they do it not well consistently, because they leave so many people, many character exits hanging. Like they're just all of a sudden gone. Like
it's
I don't get it.
Currently, we've got Nurse Mount and Delia.
They just got literally a mention that they were in Scotland, and like good luck to them. And
Tom was in New Guinea as well.
Yeah, well, Barbara got the best exit of all. I mean, we cried and sobbed for her, but I mean, in terms of her story arc, like she got the most fanfare. She got like 4 episodes. But then we'll have tons of other characters that are just poof. Like, where did Valerie Dyer go? Sorry, like spoiler again, but like where? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say what happened to her, but yes, Jeremy, we're all confused about it too. So
yeah, so basically we don't. This is your answer. We don't like it. Okay, so message from Joanne. Hi, Joanne. She says,
Hello.
ladies, I just love your podcasts. I was caught up, so I started watching again from the beginning, along with listening to the podcasts again. I'm caught up now, and I'm sad I need to wait a week for the next one. I so
Aw.
enjoy the discussion and especially diversions. Well, do you know what? If you want a diversion, mate, this is the place for you. I find myself talking back to you guys and laughing out loud. My neighbours probably think I am daft. Here's a question for the listeners special. It seems odd to me that the midwives can just walk into a hospital and do their thing. For example, Trixie takes the lady who had her teeth removed up to a delivery room, and the only ones in the room are Trixie, Mr. Dockrell, and the patient. No one from the hospital is present. On a Christmas special, Trixie is in the nursery at the hospital in her midwife uniform. There are other times I've noticed this too. Did anyone else notice this, or am I just seeing things? Love your podcast so much. Thank you so much. I feel like I have 3 new friends. Joanne, you do.
Oh, well, Joan, yes, we are your friends, so no question
Joanne,
there.
but call her Joan.
Oh, Joanne. Well, Joe and Joanne. I see we're such good friends. I'm already calling you Joe because we're just so close. Yeah. Well, I'm always talking. What do you girls think about this?
I never noticed that. And I'm like,
I
why did you
hadn't,
not
but now
notice
you
that?
say it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to sound like I'm so smart, but I just always assumed that they had like hospital like licenses or privileges or something that just like they served in the community, but that they automatically were connected to a hospital where they could go and also serve in times of certain events kind of thing.
But especially with the Crystal situation, you would think that if they'd have just taken her up to the maternity ward, it would be led by somebody based in the hospital. It's so we've never noticed that.
Yeah.
Well, like here's an example. Like I can't remember the lady's name, but you remember the mom of 2 who was married to that man, and she went on birth control, and then she had like a heart attack or all that thing. So like Trixie was in the hospital with her when she was,
I think Trixie was on surgical, wasn't she? She was on
secondment.
Yes.
She was?
Yeah.
I think so.
She was. They'd asked her to go in.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because I thought for whatever reason, I thought she saw her. Oh,
but
no,
I'll tell you what else.
Nurse,
there was that Margaret Jones as well, and her nurse was Mary Cynthia, or just Cynthia then. And she wasn't seconded to she was just there looking after her. So actually, you're 100% right, Joanne. We'll look out for this in the future. We'll have a klaxon for it, yeah?
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that in a detailed way.
Next one, we're going to get through him. Meg.
Okay.
Meg has messaged just before. She's doing a GCSEs. We love Meg.
Oh, no.
Okay,
right.
Yeah. For future pods about thalidomide in skills, or Welsh skills about how to do presentations and all of that jazz, I think it's called Welsh Baccalaureate. And for my individual project, I chose to do the history about thalidomide. From the intense research I had to do, I've learned that thalidomiders wore artificial limbs to appear normal in society. Also, that many thalidomiders had gone to special schools and education was far from the priority list, and a head teacher accepted 10 thalidomiders into mainstream schools, and those who did get in, they were bullied very badly. And those thalidomiders who did go into special schools, there was classrooms with children from the ages of 4 to 16.
Oh.
Also, they didn't have a right to have an education. There was so much more information than I know about it, and even for me, it's extremely overwhelming. But if you want to know any more about it, I can help you. Thank you, Meg. We will actually probably get in touch with that. But yeah, so she does history GCSE, so she wants to see if any sources from historian perspective. But yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting little insight there into how.
Well, the fact that they didn't have a right to an education.
No,
which is disgusting. That's terrible.
Yeah, so basically they weren't offered places in schools. They weren't made to go to school or anything. They didn't have a right to it. It wasn't, this seemed like they needed it. Right, I've got a message here, and it's actually by Bex, and it says, if anything happened to Fred, I would quit the podcast in protest and stop watching Call The Midwife. She sent us that message the other night, and it just made me howl.
And we're not going to say what that means. Anyway, so but yes, just
right.
To
next
know.
one. I just took a screen grab. It just made me laugh.
I was like,
okay.
Another Bex. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got Barbara Lim in Australia again. We love you, Barbara. So Barbara says, we don't have streaming services, so I'm very slow catching up on The Crown. I watched Series 6, Episode 5 and 6 tonight. I was an admirer of our gracious Queen all my life. In Episode 5, she is still firmly at Balmoral following the death of Diana. At one stage, Diana visits her and there is a conversation. The Queen is wearing the sort of outfit one sees on many old ladies, a floral blouse with a checked shirt. I was appalled. I never saw the Queen in anything like that. She tended to wear a plain top and a cardigan or jacket with a tartan or checked skirts. I know it's off CTM topic, but I wondered if you, Becky and Alex had noticed. Barbara, I definitely didn't notice, but I'm guessing this is the kind of thing Bex would know about.
Yeah, Bex, what do you say?
No, I've not noticed.
Do you think she would wear a floral blouse with a checked skirt?
Oh, wait. Skirt. Okay.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm tired. Do you think that's the kind of thing she'd wear? I don't think she'd wear a clash of two
prints.
I
don't think she'd wear a floral blouse.
No, exactly.
Do you think it's the kind of thing where like how she looked in public versus how if she just like threw something on in private or something like that?
Do you think she's channeling you, Jen, where she's professional Monday to Friday,
Yes.
and then at the
Listen,
weekends she just
girl-
wants comfort?
I'm telling you
And
this now from watching The Crown. She was professional 24/7, baby.
I actually really like the way she said, what did she say? Gracious queen or gracious lady or something?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, look, I do think Elizabeth really was a very gracious and like serious and stately lady.
I've been watching The Crown with my mum, and we've not watched the latest series, which has got Diana.
You haven't watched all the most recent ones?
No.
Why?
Oh.
Because my mum is obsessed with telling me that she's only up to the Abba Fan episode. And I'm like, no, we've watched the whole of that series.
That's ages ago, by the way.
Yeah, and I keep telling her, no, you've watched it. The minute you start trying to rewatch that episode, you're going to see that you've watched this.
I'd just watch it without a Bex.
She refuses to watch it.
Well, I thought you guys were going to watch this over Christmas.
I did.
This past Christmas.
But then, no, because now she's decided that she's not going to watch the latest series. She's starting from the beginning.
Oh, Bex, just watch it yourself, mate. Honestly.
So I need to just go solo.
And she's only up to Aberfan. Aberfan is like the first series, basically. She's like 3 episodes
Jen,
in.
she's not even got round to starting again.
Bex, just watch it.
Watch it without her. You can say it's surprise when you watch it together in 17 months.
Yeah,
it's just on
you
a
won't
to-do
remember
list
by then anyway, so just do it.
She's never gonna,
just watch it, enjoy it, and then erase it from your brain, and then you just watch it for the first time with her.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll never tell.
I'm moving you to Tori. Hello, Recall the Midwife. My name is Tori, and I'm 28 from the US. I wanted to take this moment to write this letter to tell you thank you for making your podcast.
Aww.
I am a super fan of Midwife as well. I have seen every episode of the show at least twice. I have cerebral palsy and Asperger's syndrome, along with some other disabilities. With the cerebral palsy, I'm in discomfort, if not pain, at all times. And with the Asperger's, which is a type of high-functioning autism, socializing and making friends can be difficult. Midwife has been one of the only places where every part of my identity is treated with respect. I know. Midwife has always been a space where I feel safe. I wanted to thank you for extending that feeling of a safe space with your podcast. I like to listen to your podcast at night when I'm in pain and there is no one to talk to. It definitely helps me feel less alone. Have you guys seen season 13, episode 1 yet? When you do, there is a character in that episode who has cerebral palsy. I would love to share my story with you and share my experience with having cerebral palsy. If you are interested, yes, we are. I would also love to share my story and experience with Asperger's syndrome and any other disability at any time you feel appropriate to do so. I haven't gotten to listen to all your episodes yet, but I thought of a cool idea. Did you guys ever think of assigning each other characters from the show? For example, if I was a character, I would definitely say I was a Patsy. Thank you for taking the time to read this letter, and thank you again for all the hard work you do. It really helps make my world a brighter place. Thanks again for everything. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Oh, Tori. I actually replied saying, oh my God, I literally nearly cried. It was gorgeous.
I was going to say the tears are
Tori.
kind of, I'm feeling very emotional about Tori and her beautiful vulnerability in this message. Oh, Tori, sweet lady.
Who would you be? Well, we've already said Becky's Jane.
Yeah.
Who are you going to be? We'll have to think about this.
Oh gosh.
I'm quite plain talking. Am I a Nurse Crane?
I think you'd be a Sheila.
Oh, who's Sheila?
You.
Jen. Me?
Yeah.
I think, is she a bit not caring? Is she a bit too caring?
Yeah.
Not that I'm not caring.
I would say if I was gonna flatter myself, I'd really like to say that I'm Barbara. But I think more realistically,
more of a Jenny.
You're terrible. I hate you. This podcast is over. I was gonna say more realistically, I think I'm a Phyllis, because I do think I have a very sweet, caring heart, but I also I don't know. I think I'm just not as I don't know. I guess but Phyllis is not. Phyllis is more practical and like matter of fact than I am. I'm a little bit more
of a like nicer, caring side to you.
I do. Oh.
We'll have a ponder on this. Maybe Lucille. Oh no, she's a bit prim. You're more funny. Anyway, right.
Maybe Val. Maybe I'm more like Val.
Yeah, you just got to call people chick more.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to think about it.
Right, now. Okay, this is another one. My name is Ruby, and I'm a big fan of your podcast. I just wanted to ramble a bit about what Call the Midwife means to me because I'm not sure anyone else wants to hear it. Well, we do, Ruby.
We
Yeah, we
always
do.
do.
Yeah, I'm 23 and I had a really horrible time with my mental health last year. I was in and out of hospital constantly and in some really bad states. I started watching the show in December 2023 and completely fell in love with it. I don't mean to sound dramatic, but I honestly think the show is a huge part of the reason I'm doing so well in my recovery now.
Oh.
I know one of you had a really traumatic time and used the show to cope with your trauma. It's not the same. I'm not a mum, but I do have a lot of medical trauma from being in hospital and experiencing poor treatment from doctors and nurses who weren't sensitive to my needs as an autistic person. Watching the way all the nurses are so lovely on the show was a really healing experience for me and helped me to understand that no matter what, I did deserve good care. Now, I did check with Ruby before I read this out.
Okay.
I was allowed to, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was, amazing. And I also said it was me who was the one who had the bad birth trauma. And I also thanked her so much for this lovely message and also just, for the shared experiences about this kind of thing. I think I think it is very important. I think that's why it does hit a note with a lot of people, this show. And also our podcast, because obviously we do talk about all the issues in it as well.
Yeah.
So when I said, could I use that? And then she said, I also like to say that it really helped me seeing the way Dr. Turner was with Sister Mary Cynthia in season 6. Male doctors are such a hit or miss in real life, but he was so sensitive and kind with her after she went through something so horrific. I was hospitalised after a similar experience, and I was victim blamed by a doctor. So seeing the way Patrick treated her was so healing and made me feel so seen and oddly loved in a way. I know that's crazy, it's not at all, but it really made me feel better. I love your podcast so much. I always watch the episode you're talking about on a Sunday night before I listen to the podcast. It's my winding down before bed routine. You guys have such interesting insights, and I love it when we notice the same things or have the same theories.
Well, I'll just say this. I'll make this very brief, but I'll just say that I have talked about it, but I don't think I have connected the dots in a major way. But my father passed away in 2017, and that event happened at a time where I was already in a very, very, it was a very, very bad time in my life, for lots and lots of reasons. Yeah. And there are scenes in this show, and I've highlighted many of them just in our conversations, but there are scenes in this show that I found after that loss that have profoundly touched me, and I carry them with me on a regular basis, and they did and do really, help me, as I always kind of continue in this journey of, just processing loss and life and, things that happen. And so I think all of us feel the power of this show, and I just really respect and admire your willingness to share that with us, and just know we all are in the same boat with you. So
yeah, well, the whole point of this podcast in the first place, the whole reason I actually ever watched Call the Midwife was because of my PTSD. So yeah, and obviously it's come to this, that we're doing this podcast, and I can't believe, can you believe we've got all these different people who have actually messaged us?
I honestly, it blows my mind that the amount of people that listen. And
I know. Well, I've got more.
Also thanking us for our hard work. I mean, the only person really to thank is Alex, because she edits it. And Jenn just turn up.
I also do all the social media as well. So
you love that though, so you can't. You do love it.
I do. I'm joking.
You're chatting with everybody.
I do love chatting.
Alex is the most truly extroverted person. I mean, you are always into people and into talking to people. And
I did it when side note, I went and did something with my daughter today, and there was loads of people there, and I was just so horrendously sick-inducingly extrovert, and I was just loving life. Anyway, right. So Bonnie says, absolutely love the podcast. It's my favourite part of the week. All the people in my life look at me like I'm mental when I talk about that weird show about nuns riding bicycles, my husband's words. So it's wonderful to know that there are indeed other people in the world that understand our love for this spectacular series. A few ideas for you when you all catch up to the current episodes. You can do a best of series and feature each character in his or her greatest moments, definitely.
Love
you
it.
Do a top 10 topics, best episodes, funniest moments, looking at you, Dr. Turner's knees during the camping episode, saddest moments, etc. There's tons of options to ensure Recall the Midwife goes on for quite some time. Thank you all for all you do and keep up the great work. P.S. You could also have listeners as a podcast guest every so often. That's not a bad shout either. So thank you so much, Bonnie.
Love it, Bonnie.
Well, all those ideas are brilliant.
We have had some messages lately from people who we might have to all start putting makeup on before we record these.
Yeah, I know.
Because people will actually see what we look like.
Exactly. Right. Now, this one is one for you, Bex, especially. So this is from Jennifer, who says, such a great episode, as always. Thank you for reading my email. I felt famous, lol. And thanks for letting me know about the tour. I did tell you. See, I told her. We planned lots of other stuff, mostly eating and drinking, lol. Jenn talking about eating donuts in the car reminded me that we used to have bagels, the fries or chips at the bottom of the bag that whoever went to get the fast food got to eat.
Oh, yes.
And then just one last one before we end. I've got Debbie who says, just finished listening to the latest episode. Jen, you always say that you cry at every episode, and I've wondered what's wrong with me as I haven't cried during any of them. While I cried at this one, so sad, you're right. They should have got some happiness in Poplar before she got sick. Can't wait for the next one. Now, I just said that was the last one, but it is not the last one.
Well, before you go on, I very rarely cry in a Call the Midwife. Jen's like, oh my God, this had me in tears. And I'm like, yeah.
I don't think of myself as a crier, but certain things really get me going, and I'll tell you what, this show always does. So, but you know, cry or not cry, we're all equal in our love, so it's no judgment. You had one more, Al?
Hi, I'm Neve and I'm 12 years old.
Oh.
You are the best podcast I have ever listened to in the world.
Well, and Neve,
she's only 12 though.
that ranking will remain for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
I just want to guarantee you that.
Just saying she got good taste early. I started watching Call the Midwife when I was 9 with my mum, and I became addicted to it within a couple of days. To be honest, it sounds like my daughter trying to walk in. My favourite character ever is either Sheila, Barbara, Patsy, or Phyllis. You've totally, absolutely got it right there.
Amazing ones.
Yeah. When Sheila went into hospital, I actually wept for at least an hour. And when Barbara died, don't even get me started. You are such beautiful, sweet people, and listening to you every week makes me feel as though I am among best friends. It's so strange. None of my friends want to discuss Call the Midwife with me. I have religiously watched every episode along with you for about the 100th time, and your remarkable insights and bizarre anecdotes make me belly laugh in the days I'm down. Jen has such... Well, this is it. Jen has such a gorgeous laugh and a happy disposition.
Aww.
Bex, not being nosy, is hilarious, and her dry humour makes me cry with laughter. And Alex, you are the funniest person in the universe. I'm telling you now, I did not write it. However, I have a bone to pick with you. Right back at the start of the pod, you mentioned Trixie saying sweetie and then mentioned Valerie saying precious. This is incorrect. Valerie says chick and Lucille says precious. I'm telling you now, we just got
you're right.
Yeah. Also, I have a controversial opinion. I despise Lucille. She was so totally amazing, her and Cyril, and then she totally abandoned him and was left all by himself. I was outraged. I loved Lucille, but Cyril was a whole other level and she just totally vanished. I know that's not her. It's the awkward moment when Leonie Elliott left, but still. Also, Chummy hated her, hated Peter, liked Freddie because how can I hate a baby? But yes, never warmed to her. Don't ask why, just don't. Also, Downton Abbey is also the best. Please do a podcast in it. I love it. And finally, I've read Jennifer Word's books as well. I read all 3 in a week on holiday. It was such a refreshing read for a cruise. Lols. Love you guys. Oh, bless you. Bless you.
This
also,
girl
she
is
loves
12?
she loves baking as well, like you two.
Oh my God, this girl is 12.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
I know.
Well, wait a minute. Just to say, this young lady is only 12 years old now.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
I know.
I'm very impressed. I mean, look, Call the Midwife is, we've had listeners who are very young all the way to older, mature age, right? And I'm just always impressed by, like when people start watching the show and kind of like how they connect with it and why they connect with it and all of that. And I mean, this young lady also like so brave because those books especially are really tough. Like, oh my gosh, like
and to read 3 in a week, that's a dark week.
What's a dark holiday as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hope she was like skimming past just a lot of stuff in there. Also, it just really made me lols when she was like, I don't care for Chummy, I don't like this person. I was like, okay. Now, we respect all opinions, but that just really had me laughing.
I have to agree with the Lucille. I mean, we'll talk about it more because that's another spoiler.
I know. Lucille, yeah, I don't want to spoil either, but Lucille was not, I like her, but she's not like one of my top ones.
The other thing I'm going to share on our social media is, so my daughter did some work recently. I went to her parents' evening and looking through her books and everything, they leave them out for you. And they've done this weird question, which is like, who works in our local community? And they had to choose someone or whatever. And my daughter chose a lollipop worker. So she's drawn a thing about a lollipop worker. So I'll put that on our social media so you can all see it.
That's very cute. That's very cute. All right. So we've had so many. Do we have any more?
Just a few more, just really quick.
Okay.
Linda says, Reggie, that music carousel just broke my heart. He's such a kind
soul.
Oh
God, we all sobbed at that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the last one for now, we will have more for the future episodes, but I just really wanted to do a big long episode on loads of them because we've had so much really good interaction. I didn't want to ruin it by just doing one tiny bit at the end.
It blows my mind the amount of some of the feedback we get.
I know. So we'll do this one and then we'll talk about it. Debbie, she says, I have only listened to part of this podcast as I'm savouring it to make it last, but I have to comment on the discussion of chicken salad sandwiches. When I was young, my nana took me to the big department store in Winnipeg, Manitoba, named Eaton's, and I always ordered a chicken salad sandwich and it was delicious. It had big chunks of chicken, celery, onion and mayo, a bit of salt and pepper served on white bread. I've seen modern recipes that try to spice it up, but we like it the old way as we are of British background and tend to like our food more on the bland side. How rude. Lol. Keep up the good work, ladies. Yeah. To be fair, apparently we like the bland sandwiches, so yeah. But that's it for now, ladies. They're all the messages we have.
That was amazing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is so great.
Isn't
I
it
also
lovely? Like, how amazing are our listeners? Thank you so much to anyone who has messaged. Thank you to anyone who listens, let alone messages.
Yeah,
Like, I just can't believe
absolutely.
how many people are actually listening. I can't believe how many people actually message us. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for getting in contact, for listening to us as well. But just how many amazing, insightful, brilliant listeners do we have, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Although not
It's
enough in New
amazing.
Zealand.
I just am so impressed by it, and I just feel like, and the thing that honestly really touches me is like people who discover the show and then happen to discover us, and then they, go back and start from the beginning and want to get into it. I mean, it's just all around. It's so sweet, and I just
Also, we're a bit rubbish at first because we weren't editing as much as I was just getting my
I
husband to edit it, so
know,
we were all like
I
breathing and
know.
like because I can edit all
Well,
that out now.
yeah, and like, I mean, truly, it's hilarious because like have I gone back? I don't know, but just remembering what we were like at the start, I'm really glad people have kind of like stuck with us until
Yeah.
we kind of got our feet under us a little bit with all of this, because it's, it definitely took a minute. Like I mean, we're not professional by any stretch now, but I think we got a little bit of a groove going and stuff. So, oh, I just love it.
Something we
I just love
always
all
had
of our
going
people.
for us was that we had the friendship foundation first.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but I do think that's important on the podcast and things like that. If you know each other well and like each other, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say the liking comes and goes, but
Well, the more we say old Jenny, the less you like us.
well, and the fact that like I tolerate so much America bashing on this show all the time. Oh my God. What did you say? You said I was listening to some episode and you said something and I was like, golly. I didn't respond in the moment, but as I was listening later on, I was like, gee whiz. But anyways, I know it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great show. And I will say to our listeners out there who are also in the same boat, who have not had all the episodes for season 13 yet, I am working my way through season 13, and it is an emotional roller coaster, and I'm loving and crying just as much as I always ever was. And tonight I will be watching more of the new episodes of series 13, and
I have a lot to say about series 13.
Oh my goodness. I have a lot of opinions too, and it feels weird to have to wait because I'm watching it and I'm like, I want to say this, but it's going to take time to get there. And I wonder if I'm going to feel the same now. I wonder if I'm going to feel the same when we record about it as I feel now, or if my thinking will have evolved over time.
No, I think you will. I always feel like the same gut reactions of mine.
Yeah.
But I just also wanted to do just a bit of a shout out to the people who don't have friends who listen to this. No, don't have friends who watch Call The Midwife, who listen to this, and like they're using us as that. This is literally one of the main reasons why we did this podcast, because I was just saying before to these two, we just had a bit of a break because we had to do a bit of a ending on the recording, so we had to open a new one. And I was just saying the reason that I started this podcast, I just remember it was like an itch I had to scratch. I just remember thinking, oh, do you know, it'd be amazing, a podcast about Call The Midwife, because I was watching it constantly. Podcast where we talk about it. We can talk about an episode, but like I really like people listening to it, 3 friends. And I remember speaking to you, Jen, and you've been like, yeah, well up for it. And Becky was like, no. And I was like,
I was like, I think I kind of went along with it, and then you were like, yeah, we're actually going to do this. I was like, what? We're actually going to do it? I thought it was just one of those things that you say, like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we did this? But you don't
made a wooden clog out of wood for you.
Conversely, I think I said yes because I was just like, okay, sure. And then I was like, well, we'll just see if this ever gets off the ground, kind of a thing. Because I was like, well, I'm not.
Oh, you two not believing in me.
Well, I believed in you, but at the same time, I mean, like life is busy, you know what I mean? And you have a lot on your plate. And I was like, I mean, I knew what I brought to it.
This is the worst time for me to do this, but I'm doing it, and we're doing it well.
But like a lot of things in life, like having children, is there ever going to be a good time? You've just got to do it. You've got to take the plunge, and it will all work out great,
Yeah, but the point being, I really wanted something, because there used to be times when I want to talk to someone about Call The Midwife, and obviously I was so obsessed with it because I was watching it constantly because I was trying to get over this birth, blah, 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 blah. So I didn't really have anyone to talk to about it. And then Jen, I knew you would started watching it. So then I was speaking to you about it, and I was like, oh, do you know what would be really good? So then I thought this would be really good. I didn't think anything really had come of it, apart from the fact that I just thought it'd be really good at podcast that I would like to listen to. And I do listen to. I know you don't, Bex, but I just thought it'd be really good. But I thought it'd be good for people who don't have someone to speak to about Call The Midwife, to have people talking about it, one of us hopefully would have some of their thoughts as well. So I thought that'd be quite good. So yeah, I'm just really glad that people are actually, it resonates with people, and I really appreciate all the comments, because it is really lovely, because it is hard work, or that we do put work into it, and it is amazing that people are actually responding to it. Just one person saying that we help them in one tiny way is actually amazing. Like, it has made it all worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
amazing.
it is. Our listeners are amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all for listening. Oh, well, you know what? Listen, I've already laid it on pretty thick, so I will try to refrain myself, but I can get super cheesy so quick.
So from something so lovely and heartwarming and amazing, we're going to go to the book next week of Farewell to the East End. Oh.
Yeah,
and I don't need to read this on a holiday. Do you know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I'll just say, so like, we usually encourage people to like watch the episode and then, you know, be prepped for when we talk about it.
We just like, don't we?
Honestly, like, if you read the book and you want to either go back to it, or, you know, or you were really like dying to read it anyway and you were like, I'm gonna do it or whatever like that, then like, great. But I'm just gonna be clear, like, in advance, because I'm always like the trigger warning gal on this show. Like, we'll try to make it a good, fun, usual episode with all of us, where, you know, we have jokes and humor and everything like that. But there are some true horrors, like, and I don't use that word lightly, like horrors that are happening in the world, or that have happened in the past, that are as bad as it can get, like truly as bad as it can get. And there's some of them she goes into detail, some of them she just kind of describes as a way of setting a scene or things like that. But when I just tell you, like, if you don't want to read this book, or you're not like really interested in reading it, or you haven't read it, like, don't feel like you have to push yourself to do it, you know? Like,
yeah, just listen to us.
Like, we'll talk about all the great parts, like, we'll like talk about all the fun parts or anything like that, but like, just know that there's like a discussion of a lot of really, really grim stuff in this. And there were just a few parts that, like, when I'm saying this, I'm thinking about. Oh God. And I just remember I was on a road trip and I was reading it with my mom, and she was kind of like intermittently like falling asleep and waking up. But I was just like, oh my God. Like, as I was listening, I was like, gee whiz, like, to no one in the car, but my mom was there. And she was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh no. I'm like, this is terrible. This is terrible.
So from this really heartwarming, lovely episode that can I just say, we've also had to do a bonus episode from all the correspondence we've had, because I didn't want to like just do little asides at the end. So how amazing is that? So but also keep sending your questions in, because we can do these all the time. So yeah, send them in. Send all your questions, any comments you want to say to us, any reviews, any things that Jen's got wrong. You know, just get. I'm joking. Do you know what else really annoys me? I keep saying brevity instead of levity, because I'm always tired. So I'm like, for a bit of brevity. I really don't think that word means that, but I keep saying it all the time, and then I catch myself afterwards when I'm editing the episode, like cringing from the inside.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys, wait, this is so wild. So, okay, my mom this morning, she comes to me, she's like, can you go look? I think something is in our walkway, this white thing, and I don't know what it is. And I'm like, huh? So I go out there, and it's like a cover. It's like a white fabric cover, but it looks like it's a cover for something like in the exterior, you know? And I'm like, I have no idea. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I think it probably blowed over here from somewhere else, because this is not ours, and it's like in our yard somehow. Okay, you guys, the mystery is solved, because across the street from us, there's a guy who owns an RV, and he's got wheel covers for the RV. And he literally just walked over to my yard and picked up the cover and walked back to his house, and he's putting it on the wheel. I mean, I'm not saying like all of the content we put out there is really great, and you guys didn't even know or care about that until I just told the story.
But we say that,
but we can sleep soundly.
Well, yeah, exactly. But also, a lot of people here have commented how they like these weird detours we go on. So that's probably the weirdest. But
mystery solved.
They are here for it.
I'm
this
like,
is on Pod's next podcast, Jen's next podcast. Weird neighborhood mysteries solved.
I know. I want to give myself a pun name that's like Wagatha Christie or something. That now that like the mystery of the tire cover has been solved. But anyway,
I was trying to think of a famous detective. It's got any kind of pun that could have like tire or wheel.
I know. I was gonna say like something with Sherlock Holmes, but we'll have to brainstorm it and come back next time. Also, you can cut this whole story out if you'd like to, but
no, it's work, so no. Right. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for contributing. Again, send us messages to callthemidwife@gmail.com. No, not call the midwife. recallthemidwife@gmail.com. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X, Threads. Leave us a comment on the podcast review as well. Just a good one. Don't negatives, Kelby. Just don't do it. So thank you so much for listening. Get in contact, that'd be great, and we'll see you next week when we're doing the farewell to the East End.
Yes. Bye.
See you so much. Ciao.